Hey guys, hopefully I sat a little closer to the camera this time. You can still kind of see Achilles and Patroclus, and so hopefully this is better than the last time that I saw you guys. But anyway, I'm coming at you with the mid-year freak out tag, and I'm not going to do too much of an intro because you guys know what this tag is probably if you watch BookTube videos. It's pretty common to see this kind of tag going around. It's a bunch of questions about what you read so far. So without further ado, let's just get into the questions. So we're starting off with, what is the best book that you've read in 2019 so far? And I'm going with I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. I just can't really emphasize how much I love this book. It's just such a quality, like, non-binary story that we need, like, non-binary people need. Like, we wanted their representation, and we got the representation in this book. So, if you haven't read this book, and you have any interest in NB stories that are actually own voices as well, I highly recommend you read this book. The next question is the best sequel you've read in 2019, and I'm going with Conjuring of Light. I went with this one because I just thought it was, like, such a good conclusion to the series. I highly enjoyed it, and I love the character development that Rye gets. Absolutely loved his character in this book, and just, I don't know, it's a sequel that, like, raises the stakes, and, like, in a good way that doesn't seem forced. Like, at least in my opinion, it didn't seem forced or anything. And I really like that. I like when sequels raise the stakes really high. And this raised the stakes very high. So, I don't know. I just enjoyed it a lot. The next question is a new release that you haven't read but really want to. And I'm going with In an Absent Dream by Sean McGuire. So, I actually haven't read this book yet for some reason. I think I just, like, put it in my bookshelf desk and forgot about it. And so, I don't know. I haven't read it yet. I really want to. It's Lundy's story. And it's part of the Wayward Children series, so it's the fourth book, I believe, in the series, but they're not built upon each other. They're all, like, companion novels. Well, I guess technically you need to read Every Heart a Doorway before you read Beneath the Sugar Sky, because they do reference things. But, like, for the most part, they're mostly companion novels. So I'm really excited to see Lundy's World, because from what we've heard, it seems really interesting. And I've really heard nothing but great things about this book. So, like, I don't know why I haven't read it yet. It came out in, like, January, so I really need to get on that. The next question is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and I don't think I need to say what this is. It's Call Down the Hawk, y'all. Like, I literally cannot wait for November 5th. Like, it's going to be so fucking good. Because, I don't know, I haven't read the first 8 chapters yet. Because I don't want to read them, get really excited for the book, and then have to wait until November. So I'm like, it's fine. I will wait until November, and then I will read the whole thing. So I might give in to temptation and read the first 8 chapters eventually. I don't know. It depends. But so far I've been really good about, like, forgetting that it's out there and being like, no, you're gonna wait until you have the whole book so you don't get really mad at yourself. But anyway, I've been looking forward to this book since I found out it was a thing, and I pre-ordered it already off of Fountain Bookstore, so I'm getting either a signed copy with a book plate or a copy with a signed book plate. I can't remember which one. I think it's a signed copy with a book plate, but I'm not completely sure. The next question is biggest disappointment, and you would think I would go with the 5th season, because that's, like, been, like, the least favorite book I've read this year, but actually, I'm going with The Secret History. I was really, really hoping that I would enjoy this book as much as everyone else seems to enjoy this book. However, I did not. you would think that, like, with, like, a group of classic students and murder that I would be into it, right? And I was into it. I gave this book, I think, 4 stars. But it just didn't grab me. The characters really didn't grab me, and the characters are really what makes the book, because you know what happens. Well, you kind of know what happens in, like, the first pages of the book. Like, you know who dies anyway. So, like, there's not that element going for it, which, like, is cool, but at the same time, I was like, if the whole first half of the book, I just felt like I was waiting for something to happen. So, like, I don't know, it didn't click with me as much as it clicks with other people, and I'm kind of really sad about that, because everybody loves this book, and I'm just over here like, yeah, it was okay. The next question is your biggest surprise, and for that I'm going with Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me. I bought this literally because I was at an independent bookstore, and the person working there was trying to get rid of this last copy because, 1, they really loved it, and 2, they wanted to set up a new display. So basically when I was like, oh, that's the same company that did Check, Please, and Bloom, I really like that company, they, like, handed it to me and proceeded to make a new display, so I kind of had to buy it. And let me tell you, it was expensive. And, like, I'm glad I bought it because I really did enjoy it, but, like, I didn't have very high expectations for this book. Like, I knew basically nothing about it going into it. And so, with my low expectations and the high quality fucking content that it is, it was my biggest surprise. The next question is your favorite new author. This can be a new to you author or a debut author. And for this, I'm gonna have to go with Alice Oseman. I'm not holding up any of her books because my book stack was already very large and I didn't want to pull out another book. She's the author of Solitaire, Radio Silence, Heartstopper, and I Was Born for This. I have read Radio Silence and Heartstopper Volume 1. Volume 2 comes out in July, and I'm really excited because I haven't actually gone online and, like, read the rest of it, so I'm, like, really excited to buy Volume 2 and see what happens. And then I'm currently reading I Was Born for This, which is really good so far, and tomorrow is my day off, so I think I'm gonna read a lot tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where the plot goes. I have not read Solitaire, mainly because I heard that it's good, but you can tell the author is really young, and it's not as good as Radio Silence or I Was Born for This, so, like, it would ultimately probably be a disappointment. So I don't know if I have plans to read that one or not, but if I like Heartstopper enough and I want to, like, I don't know, see their small cameo appearances in Solitaire, maybe I'll read it, but, right now it's not very high on my TBR, but I really love the other books that I've read by her, so, like, she manages to capture fandom, like, in a way that no author has that I've read anyway, and I really appreciate that, because fandom was/is, like, a huge part of my life, and, like, she just captures it so well, y'all. If you haven't, you should definitely read Radio Silence. And if you want something real cute and you like graphic novels, you should read Heartstopper Volume 1. The next question is your newest fictional crush, and for that I'm going to have to go with Rai from the Darker Shades of Magic series. I love him so much, y'all. Like, he isn't a pure bean. He is, like, a cinnamon roll with, like, S-I-N at the front instead of, like, regular cinnamon roll. Like, he's a cinnamon roll. And I just love him so much. And, like, especially in this book, it's so good. His character development is so good. So, love me some Rai. The next question is your newest favorite character. I'm not going with one character, I'm going with a whole group of characters, and that is the main characters of The Disasters by M.K. England. This book does such a good job of being fast-paced, but also, like, giving the characters like development and like fleshing them out, and like it's just so good. And like I love each and every one of the crew of the Swiftkick. I don't know what we call them. Are they the Disasters? Are they just the crew of the Swiftkick? They don't have a cool name, but I think the Disasters is a pretty cool name, and I think we should refer to them as the Disasters, because they're all like fucking disasters, but in a good way. So anyway, I can't really pick a favorite out of all of them. So I just decided I would go with the whole ensemble. The next question is a book that made you cry, and only one book has managed to make me cry this year, and it was a reread, and that is Crooked Kingdom. So we all know, if you've read Crooked Kingdom, what I probably cried at during Crooked Kingdom. It still hits me hard. Even though I was expecting it, it still is just heartbreaking, and I shed a few tears. The next question is a book that made you happy, and for that I'm going with How to Be a Normal Person by T.J. Klune. I just loved the two characters, like the two main characters in this book. Like, Gus is such a, like, for someone who is, like, works in a video rental store and doesn't use the internet, he's, like, such a relatable character, I want to say. Like, I don't know, just some of his thought processes were, like, relatable. And obviously Casey, the asexual stoner. I am not a stoner myself, but I loved his character. And, like, the ace representation was just fucking quality. So, like, that coupled with the fact that, like, I loved the characters, all of the characters in this book, really. Like, it's just, it made me so happy. The next question is the most beautiful book you've bought or received this year, and I went with The Past and Other Things That Should Stay Buried. So I've already made a review for this book, and I talked about how much I loved the cover in that review. I'm pretty sure I talked a good, like, 2 minutes about how much I enjoyed this cover. Obviously, it is quite beautiful, and it also, the relevance it has to the book is, like, amazing. And finally, the last question is, what books do you need to get to by the end of the year? And along with all of the books that I haven't read on my name TBR, I really want to get to When the Moon Was Ours by Anna Marie McLemore and Dreadnought by April Daniels. I'm reading these two books as part of my TBR for the Reading Rush, so hopefully I do get to them this year, but if for some reason I don't manage to do that, I'm definitely going to get to them in August, I guess, or as soon as I can, honestly, because just, I want to read these books so much. Honestly, I'm kind of like putting my name TBR on a little bit of a break, just because right now I'm reading I Was Born for this, and then I don't know when I'm going to finish it, but if I finish it before the Reading Rush, I'll probably read something on my name TBR, but if I don't, I'm definitely going to start these books afterwards, and they're not on my name TBR either. So, anyway, these books, plus my name TBR, are really the books that I want to get to this year. One book that I don't own that I really want to get to this year is Sky Without Stars, which is a Les Mis retelling in space. So, like, obviously I'm all over that because, one, I love Les Mis, and two, I love space. So I'm really interested to see what they do with the characters, particularly the Barricade Boys, because they have my heart. And, oh god, I gotta see what they do with Enjolras and Grantaire. Like, do they make them queer? Like, are they irrelevant? Like, I need it. I need to know. Those are all of the books that I really want to get to this year. But hopefully, I get to read even more books, because that's not a lot of books, to be honest. So, anyway, I've already met my Goodreads goal, by the way. My Goodreads goal was only 30 books, and I think I've read 33 books by this point. Fun fact. But, anyway, this has been my mid-year freakout tag. Let me know in the comments what are some of your favorite books of 2019. Especially if you know I haven't read them, because I'm always on the hunt for those book recommendations, especially if they're queer. I pretty much only exclusively read books with queer characters in them. So anyway, yep, let me know. You can also let me know which books you really didn't like so I can avoid those books, because I ain't trying to read more disappointing books. I'm not about that DNF life, and luckily I've only had to DNF one book, so I hope to keep it that way. So let me know which books to avoid as well. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.